Father Gast.
Hello.
You are a very interesting personality at our church. Um, I I would like to talk with you for a few minutes. Uh, could you please introduce yourself to us, to the audience who will see you on YouTube?
My name is Augustin Sicard, but everybody calls me as Gus, Father Gus. I was ordained originally a Roman Catholic priest, but then found a true Catholic church, which is the Polish National Catholic Church. And I've been a member of the Polish National Catholic Church for 20 years, and I'm very proud of that.
And you mentioned me before that you were also scholar. You were educator, teacher, missionary. Could you tell us something about this?
Okay. When I finished high school in St. Louis, Missouri, where my family had settled, I joined the Society of Mary, the Marianists, founded by William Joseph Chaminade, a French order. And after I finished my bachelor's in education, I was sent to Peru, where I was a missionary for 4 years. In that religious order, the community of brothers and monks, they will select from among them who would go to the seminary to become their priest. And I was selected. This was back in 1972 to 1973. And because of that, I was sent to then, after I finished my missionary work, I was sent to Toronto, Canada, to University of St. Michael's and the University of Toronto, Canada, where I did my studies to get my MDiv, my Master of Divinity. Then I went ahead and got a master's in pastoral psychology. And one of my professors at that time was a priest, a Jesuit priest, Attila Mikloszasi from Hungary. And he's now a bishop in the Roman Catholic Church. But he was the one who put my name down to apply for a fellowship, scholarship, to do studies in psychology. I was interested in marriage and family counseling, and the Sisters of St. Joseph in Toronto invited me to a retreat for what they called new beginners, which was people who had been divorced, who were thinking of remarrying within the Catholic Church. I went to those presentations and retreats, but we discovered there was another group of new beginners, individuals who had widowed and were seeking a new partner in life after they had gone through death, but they needed to deal with their loss. So I started working with them, and it was then that I got interested in the psychology of death and dying. So a program called the Fund for Theological Studies and Psychological Studies invited me to propose a curriculum that would bring theology and psychology together. And I wanted to use thanatology, death and dying, as the key point to bring the two fields together. I proposed that curriculum, and I got accepted, and I got the fellowship to do a doctorate, and that's what I did then at the University of Toronto. They allowed me to do it at the University of Toronto, and they paid for everything. I wrote my dissertation on the title of it, towards the development of a theologically based thanatology, a critical analysis of Edwin Steinman and Paul Tillich. Edwin Steinman, a psychologist in death and dying, and Paul Tillich, a theologian of the Lutheran Church. And I brought them together to develop a dissertation. In the meantime, I had to do an internship what they call Toronto Western Hospital. So I was assigned there to work at different I spent about 3 to 6 months in different critical units at the hospital to help both staff, patients, and their families in their process of death and dying. I was assigned also to the psychiatry department there. It was there that I came in contact with PNCC.
Yeah, so it is another chapter in
Yes.
your life, right?
Exactly.
You met PNCC, and at the
Yes.
beginning of our conversation,
Yes.
you said that it is true Catholic Church. Could
Yes.
you maybe in a few words say about this?
Okay, I was ordained a Roman Catholic priest in 1976 in St. Louis at the parish my family belongs to.
By the way, a year later, I joined the seminary as well,
Oh.
but it was in Poland.
There you go. We're connecting all over the place.
Okay.
After I got ordained, I was still going to Toronto to do my doctoral studies. That hospital, Toronto Western Hospital, which is on the western side of Toronto, and if you know Toronto, that's Dundas Street and all that, and the Polish National Catholic Church main cathedral is right off Queens and Dundas, and I was really ministering to a large number of people from Polish background, from Western Toronto. And they started telling me about PNCC and the cathedral they belong to and everything. And I was, okay, I'm interested. But then a priest came to see some of the clients, pastoral ministry from the cathedral, and his name was Father Nikolic. And Father Nikolic and I met, and that was my introduction to PNCC. I was invited to the cathedral to visit, and I fell in love with the tradition, the spirituality, everything that I felt, this is really a ministry. And that's when I made contact then with Prime Bishop Rowinski. That was my first contact to see about the possibility of transitioning into the PNCC.
And so it took you probably a few years.
Yes, it took a few years before the transition was totally completed. Yes.
And so eventually, when did you join? When did you become the clergy of Polish National Catholic Church?
I was officially accepted, in other words, incarnated.
Right.
In 1996.
96.
Yes, I had been working with Bishop Poplawski and attending meetings and all that prior to that, but the official incarnation was in 1996 at the cathedral in Buffalo.
And it was a provoking question.
Yes.
And the question is, so you stayed in Canada, right?
Yes, I was in Canada, completed 10 years up there, did my dissertation, completed my studies in both thanatology and theology, and then in 1983, I was in San Antonio, Texas. The Roman Catholic Church order that I belonged to assigned me to St. Mary's University in San Antonio, but I was still talking to PNCC. And then through Zygmunt Poplawski, another member of the PNCC, he put me in contact with his cousin, Bishop Thaddeus Poplawski. And then Thaddeus Poplawski and we began dialoguing. He came down to San Antonio to visit because we had begun in 1981, while I was working with the church, we began a religious group called the Samaritan Missionaries. And through the Samaritan Missionaries, we decided to open a parish in San Antonio, and the parish was St. Martin and St. Rose. So when we invited Bishop Poplawski to visit us, we had a congregation, and we have a building, a parish, and it made it easier then for Poplawski to present us to Prime Bishop Swantek at that time in order to be incarnated in the church and all that, and that's what happened.
So since that time, you are member of Polish National Catholic
Church, yes.
And you are still in San Antonio.
I'm still in San Antonio, at the same parish.
And so what can you tell us about the church that that you belong to? How that church maybe evolved over these years? How
it wasn't difficult for the parish that was primarily Roman. I would say 95% of our population was Roman. We did have a couple of families, we still have, that are from Polish ancestry, from Donellan, New Jersey. San Antonio is a very military city. It has 5 military bases, Air Force, everything. And a number of Polish individuals that had become part of the military in the United States were assigned to San Antonio. And they started looking up, naturally, for a church, and we are advertised as Polish National Catholic Church, and some of them recognized the tradition they were raised in as Polish National Catholic Church, and they were knocking on our door, and we invited them, and everything has flourished since then.
So how big is your parish?
We have right now 97 members and growing. We have other we define members as those who are officially registered.
Right.
But we have many more who attend but haven't registered.
Right.
They're, kind of looking at it and wondering what is this church that allows priests to get married, and in the Roman church they're not supposed to be. So they're learning, and once they feel comfortable, it hasn't been an issue.
But you are the proof that celibacy is still optional.
It's
at our
optional.
church. Yes.
It's optional. But we have in the parish in San Antonio, my assistant used to be a Roman, a Capuchin, who's now part of PNCC, and he's married and has children.
But you are not.
Correct, I'm not.
Because so we have celibate priests and married priests.
Exactly.
Because it is choice of individuals.
And each individual makes a choice.
Right.
And the group that we began within the religious order concept, we're still in existence. We just celebrated 30 years last year of existence.
Wonderful.
And they're still members. When we joined PNCC as a parish, Bishop Poplawski accepted the Samaritan missionaries also. So we all came in together. The whole parish with its members and the Samaritan missionaries.
Well, probably it will be very good to talk about you maybe next time about your order, because it is probably many people would like to know about this, who are looking for that kind of lifestyle in their moment of being part of this planet.
In one of the diocesan synods of the Buffalo-Pittsburgh Diocese, the diocesan synod representatives voted in favor of accepting the Samaritan missionaries as a diocesan religious order. So we became official within the PNCC as a diocesan religious order. Hopefully someday it will be church-wide rather than just diocesan.
Father August, thank you very much for for giving me that privilege to talk with you.
Thank you.
About our church.
Great.
Church that we love.
Very much
church
so.
Where we can exercise our ministry, our priesthood. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I wish you wonderful ministry in San Antonio.
Thank you.
I wish you to bring wonderful fruits for our church. Definitely God loves us.
Let me mention
to give us such priests like you.
Let me mention real quick, since we entered the PNCC, now we have 3 parishes in Texas. And last year,
that's wonderful.
We received the honor of declaring the whole area of Texas a seniorate.
Right.
It's a deanery, yes.
So you are the senior priest.
I'm the senior priest there now.
Like dean of the deanery.
Exactly. And we're hoping to continue having more parishes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.